The world is in complete change. The most correct word would be in constant change. Who is at the top today may not be tomorrow, and this has become normalized in Dragon Ball in such a way that one of the greatest examples of this is Gohan himself in the form of Super Saiyan 2. This transition marks what we've already seen several times. On one page he is weaker, on the next he transforms. Based on all this, who is currently at the top in Dragon Ball? Place your bets and get ready for today's video that is insane. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and activate the notification bell. Throughout the entire history of Dragon Ball, there has always been the same question that has accompanied fans since Goku's first confrontations against warriors much stronger than him. Who is the most powerful of all? With each new saga, new rivals emerge, new power levels are revealed, and the feeling is always built that the peak has been reached until Akira Toriyama and Toyotaro show that there is more beyond what seemed possible. In the current stage of Dragon Ball Super, after so many arcs in the manga, after the transformations of Goku and Vegeta, the awakening of Gohan's hidden potential, the rise of Broly, and the reminder that Jiren still exists, the discussion has never been so heated. However, there is one character who remains the focal point of this question, someone who, as unlikely as it seemed in the past, now occupies the throne of the most dangerous fighter among all mortals, Frieza. The idea that Frieza could remain at the top seemed unthinkable after his humiliating defeat in the Namek Saga. He has always been treated as an iconic villain, but one that had been left behind in the face of the absurd advancement of the Saiyans. When Goku first achieved Super Saiyan, Frieza was completely surpassed, and for years, nothing indicated that he would have any chance of returning to the center of power discussions. However, with Dragon Ball Super, this scenario changed radically. First came Golden Frieza, the result of 4 months of intensive training that already put him on equal footing with Super Saiyan Blue. And that was just the beginning. The real turning point happened when Frieza spent a period equivalent to 10 years inside the time chamber, compressed into just a few days in the real world. This detail changes everything, because it shows that while Goku, Vegeta, and even Broly trained sparsely, Frieza advanced on a much more constant and accelerated progression line. The peak of this training was revealed with the form that became known as Black Frieza, a transformation he himself declared to have achieved after this intensive period. The impact of this form is colossal, not only for the more intimidating look, but for the practical effect. In the manga, when Goku and Vegeta were already on completely different levels, with Goku mastering Ultra Instinct and Vegeta using Ultra Ego, Frieza appeared overwhelmingly and simply defeated both of them at the same time with ease, without even showing effort. This feat alone places Frieza on a level above any other mortal shown so far. When we analyze the other warriors, it's clear that all have incredible potential, but none have been able to demonstrate such clear superiority. Goku, for example, reached mastery of Ultra Instinct, something that not even the gods of destruction perfectly dominate. His style has become refined, mixing instinct, speed, precision, and adaptation. Even so, against Black Frieza, he was treated as if he were on a lower level. This doesn't mean that Goku has no room to grow, because the essence of his character has always been to break barriers. What differentiates the situation is that as much as Goku advances, Frieza is always one step ahead thanks to his isolated training and his natural genius for combat. Vegeta, in turn, found in Ultra Ego a way to place his individuality as a differential. While Goku relies on emotional detachment to react perfectly, Vegeta feeds on pride and the pleasure of fighting, absorbing damage and turning it into fuel for his evolution. This technique is a very powerful weapon, but it is still under construction. He himself admitted that he needs to improve it and that he has not yet reached the necessary mastery. Frieza, on the other hand, has already presented a finalized transformation ready for use, which gives him an advantage. Gohan, on another extreme, showed a new side with his beast form, an awakening that explores the essence of his dormant power and that places him as one of the most dangerous fighters in Universe 7. His confrontation against Cell Max proved that he can reach unbelievable peaks of power when his rage is awakened. However, the issue with Gohan is the same as always. He is not a warrior who trains with constant discipline. His power depends on circumstances, on extreme situations that force him to release his fury. This makes him less reliable in a direct dispute with someone like Frieza, who has been maintaining a progressive line of calculated and focused training.
Broly may be the most curious case. He represents the Saiyan's primitive instinct in its purest form. His power has no clear limits, because the more he fights, the stronger he becomes. Goku and Vegeta, even together, had to resort to fusion to defeat him, which shows the absurd level of his threat. Still, Broly does not master his power. He continues to be a chaotic, emotional force without refined technique. Against Frieza, this lack of control is a decisive factor. As much as Broly may have raw potential, perhaps even superior to all the others, his inability to control that power makes him vulnerable against someone who thinks coldly and takes advantage of any opening. Jiren also cannot be forgotten. In the Tournament of Power, he was presented as the mortal warrior closest to divinity, someone who surpassed even the understanding of Goku and Vegeta at that moment. His power was so immense that he faced multiple opponents effortlessly, even managing to pressure Goku in initial Ultra Instinct. However, time passed. Since then, Goku and Vegeta have grown. Gohan has awakened a new form, Broly has shown his enormous strength, and Frieza has made a gigantic leap. If Jiren has not shown any comparable evolution, he ended up being left behind. Of course, his discipline and his connection with the pride of Universe 11 still make him a heavyweight name, but in the face of Black Frieza, even he would not be able to resist. What makes Frieza different from all these warriors is not just the result of a longer training, it is his very nature. He has always been a prodigy, someone without any prior training already surpassed limits that Goku needed decades to reach. His genetics and his lineage are unique, and this now adds to a calculated effort he had never made in the past. This contrast is fundamental. While Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Broly are warriors driven by emotion, pride, or circumstances, Frieza is cold, pragmatic, and strategic. He does not train for love of battle, but because he sees it as a tool to maintain absolute power. This mentality makes his growth more direct and objective. Another crucial point is that Frieza does not depend on masters. Goku has Whis, Vegeta has Beerus, Broly has Goku as a guide, and Gohan depends on Piccolo to encourage him. Frieza, on the other hand, has no one but himself. This forces him to be self-sufficient, to rely on his own instinct and intellect to evolve. The time chamber was just the means he used, but the discipline came from within. This further reinforces his position as the strongest mortal at present. If we observe the timeline, we can see that Goku and Vegeta spent much of the post-Tournament of Power period training, but always interrupting this process from missions or unexpected battles. Broly lives in isolation, learning to control his rage. Gohan does not train consistently. Jiren remains in his universe, perhaps without major advances. Frieza, on the turn, used time with surgical precision. 10 years of training compressed into a short period of time were enough to leave him not only ahead, but at an almost unreachable level. For all this, when someone asks who is the strongest currently in Dragon Ball, excluding the gods and angels, the answer can only be one: Frieza. His black transformation is not just a new form, but the materialization of the fact that he understood that he needed to truly prepare. Unlike in the past, when he relied only on his natural superiority, now he unites talent and dedication, which makes him practically unbeatable. This does not mean that he will be untouchable forever. Dragon Ball has always reinvented itself, and Goku has proven countless times that he can achieve the impossible. Vegeta, with his obstinacy, will never accept being left behind. Gohan, if he decides to truly train, could surprise again. Broly, if he masters his instincts, might be the only one able to face Frieza on equal terms in the future. And Jiren may still show that he has not stopped evolving. But until these potentials turn into reality, the throne of strongest mortal belongs to Frieza, and with certain margin. The great differential in the end is that Frieza does not need external motivation. He does not fight for justice, pride, or the fun of battle. He fights because his goal is to be the strongest, to keep everyone else under his shadow. This pure and cold ambition, added to a strategic intellect and a blessed genetics, consolidate his supremacy. Thus, while the Saiyans chase after new limits, Frieza watches from above, aware that his current advantage came from something the others always lacked: absolute focus on becoming unreachable. And that is precisely why, in the current state of the franchise, if asked who is the strongest warrior in Dragon Ball, excluding the gods and angels, the answer must come clear, without hesitation. It is Frieza. The Emperor of Evil, the villain who seemed forgotten, returned not only to match, but to surpass all the other mortals and occupy the top of the power pyramid.
From the very first pages, we saw that power is not static. A warrior who seemed invincible at one moment can be surpassed in the next, and the narrative always reinforces this dynamic. One of the greatest examples of this is Gohan himself, who during the Cell Saga reached Super Saiyan 2, marking a historic transition in the series' history. At that moment, he seemed the most powerful warrior of Universe 7, capable of facing Cell and dominating the situation alone. However, as soon as the saga ended, we saw Gohan return to everyday life, abandon constant training, and consequently lose relevance compared to Goku and Vegeta, who continued to evolve. This oscillation demonstrates how Dragon Ball builds the notion of power. It is never absolute, it always flows, and it depends on dedication, training, and circumstances. If we look at the most recent manga, the answer clearly points to Frieza. The Emperor of Evil, who at another time was just a villain remembered for his cruelty and arrogance, now occupies the position of the most dangerous mortal warrior. Frieza's growth is not limited to brute strength, he evolved strategically. Every movement, every attack, and every technique was perfected, making him an unpredictable and cold opponent. Unlike Goku, whose evolution depends on emotional circumstances and external stimuli, the world of Dragon Ball then reflects life itself. What is strongest today may not be tomorrow. The difference in Frieza's case is that he managed to manipulate time in his favor, surpassing any mortal in strength and skill. He combines natural instinct, discipline, and strategy, creating a new paradigm for the concept of mortal warrior. This makes any direct confrontation against him extremely dangerous in the present, even for the most powerful warriors we know. In the end, the narrative reinforces that absolute power does not belong to a character definitively. It is built, conquered, and above all, maintained through dedication, intelligence, and strategic perception. Frieza, by taking advantage of 10 years of isolated training, consolidated his position at the top of the mortal universe. Goku, Vegeta, Broly, Gohan, and Jiren continue to evolve, but for now, they observe the supremacy of someone who understood the lesson more directly. Power is not just strength, it is preparation, discipline, and strategy. The top is occupied, but the world is changing, and in Dragon Ball, that change is constant. Who is above today can be challenged tomorrow, and this unpredictability is the essence that keeps the series alive and fascinating.